Guys, this is the very thing that will cause this United States president to go down in history. That's right. President Donald Trump today addressed the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, today on Monday as the first steps of the U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continue to come into effect. The final 20 remaining living hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th, 2023, were returned to Israel today as part of an exchange for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel, said officials. Now, some Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, where Israel has for 2 years waged a brutal and systematic war against Hamas, are returning home and beginning to reckon with the destruction caused by the conflict. The Hostage Families Forum said they've learned that only 4 of the 28 bodies of hostages still believed to be in Gaza will be returned today. The group is accusing Hamas of violating the deal, saying, "We expect Israel's government and the mediators to take immediate action to rectify this grave injustice." The hostage families were shocked and dismayed to learn that only 4 bodies of deceased hostages will be returned today out of the 28 held by Hamas. They said the mediators must enforce the agreement's terms and ensure Hamas pays a price for this violation. An Israeli Defense Forces spokesperson said today, "We will not rest until the mission is complete. We are prepared for the return of all the fallen hostages and expect Hamas to abide by the terms of the agreement." Buses full of freed Palestinian prisoners were greeted in Gaza and the West Bank by jubilant crowds chanting, clapping, and waving. The first phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal said 250 Palestinian prisoners and detainees held in the custody of the Israeli prison service would be released, along with 1,700 residents of the Gaza Strip who were not involved with Hamas' October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel, but they were arrested after October 7th. As President Donald Trump ended his 1 hour long speech to Israel's Knesset on Monday, he said, "We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together. We have waged war together. And perhaps most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home," he said. Trump's address was met with frequent applause and standing ovations. Trump will next travel to Egypt, that's where he's headed now, where he and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi are co-chairing an international peace summit. President Donald Trump said his speech to Israel's Knesset today, "Israel has won all that can be won by force of arms. Now it is time to translate these victories into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East." So people are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel, Trump said. He said, "This long and difficult war has now ended, and though only the first phase of a ceasefire agreement has been brokered." Ayman Uda, an Arab Israeli from Israel's Hadash party, and his colleague Ofer Kasif, a Jewish Israeli, interrupted President Donald Trump's speech to the Knesset and were ejected from the parliament. Both had raised signs, one of which was said to have read "genocide." At least one of the signs also appeared to say "recognize Palestine." President Donald Trump said in his address to the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, "This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age and terror and death. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change," he said. Now, Trump's remarks were met with frequent applause and standing ovations, as well as a brief interruption by someone in the crowd. At the Knesset for Trump's speech was his daughter Ivanka Trump and his son-in-law Jared Kushner, the latter having been involved in negotiations, as well as White House Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, and U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. Many in the audience wore MAGA style hats that read Trump the Peace President. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised and thanked Donald Trump in his address to the Knesset. He said, that was today. And he said, at the beginning of the war, I promised to bring all the hostages home. Today, with the indispensable help, the determined and focused help, the unremitting help of President Trump, and with the incredible sacrifice and courage of the soldiers of Israel, we are fulfilling that promise. That was Netanyahu. So 2 weeks ago to Trump, he said, 2 weeks ago, you succeeded in doing something miraculous. You succeeded in doing something that no one believed was possible. You brought most of the Arab world, you brought most of the world behind your proposal to free the hostages and end the war. He said, I've seen a lot of American presidents. I've never seen anyone move the world so quickly, so decisively, so resolutely as our friend President Donald J. Trump. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said no American president has ever done more for Israel than President Donald Trump when he addressed the Knesset. That's, again, the Israeli parliament. And that was today. He said, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. We will achieve this peace, said Netanyahu to President Donald Trump. And so this is big news. This is why I wanted to give you this one this morning. I mean, huge news. But it's on this day that peace in Israel and possibly all across the Middle East. First time in years. That's right. And I'm going to get dissenters and I'm going to get people that go back and forth on this. I get it. These people have been fighting, though, for over 6,000 years. And I'm going to get people that I've already gotten people that have disagree with me on that. And that's fine. But I'm basically going not with just, I mean, there have been archaeologists. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, okay, a lot of them are Christian archaeologists. I get that. That have confirmed and backed up the theory that they've been in the Middle East has been going back and forth, particularly these peoples in Israel have gone back and forth for 6,000 years, ever since Abraham kicked Ishmael and his mother Hagar out and said, you got to go. You're fighting with my boy Isaac. Ain't going to have it. Goodbye. You know, they've been fighting ever since. And I've got people that go, they haven't been fighting that long. But I believe they have. And we'll never agree on that if you don't believe that the Bible, the Holy Bible, is a historic book. If you say, I don't believe in the Bible, I don't believe in all that, we disagree. And that's fine to disagree. I'm not upset by it. I'm not angry. It's fine. We're not always going to agree on everything. But I will stand myself on the theory that these people have been fighting ever since Abraham told Ishmael and Hagar, you got to go. My son Isaac, he's going to someday in future be Israel, and you're not going to mess with him. Get out of here. They've been fighting ever since. And I said, I was reading through, I didn't just make this. I've been reading through different things, different search engines, and different material on Google. I know people are going to laugh on Google. There's good stuff on Google. So if you laugh, then you don't know how to research. But I've seen it. There, like I said, there were archaeologists and historians who have done their own research and confirmed that these people have been fighting ever since the day that Isaac became Israel and named his sons. You're Benjamin, you're Judah. They've been fighting ever since. Taking the land. Moses. Moses and Aaron and Joshua, man, they went to war against all those people there. Not Palestinian, the Philistines, the Canaanites, the Jebusites, all of them, they were fighting them all. And that was thousands of years ago. So to end this, I'm sorry it's so lengthy, but this is a big thing. Now, President Donald Trump has somehow brokered deals and he's bringing peace to a Middle East that has been in war for 1,000 years. Long time. And all of a sudden, this president, I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know. And again, if we disagree, hey, that's how we learn, through disagreement. One, and two, we're never going to, if you agreed with everything I said, then your name would be Jimmy, because you'd be me and you're not me. So we're going to disagree. Thank you guys for watching. Love every one of you. Push that play button and let me know what you think.